Let's do his running mate, if you want to call him, in the race 4. Cornerback 1, we have Jaycee Horn out of South Carolina.
21 years old, 6'1", 205, ran a 4.37. First thing, Joe Horn was the man.
That's a great first point.
His dad brought out the cell phone, one of the greatest celebrations of all time. And It's starting to make me feel very old when players that I watched religiously as I was younger and remember their game very much so, now their kids are coming into the league. So that's a negative
Samuel
for
Jr.
me.
Yeah. Asante Samuel Jr. as a cornerback is going to go day 2.
Wild, right? A lot of these guys have kids very young, but still wild.
I know. It's not helping our cause. It's making us feel old.
So my first couple things with him was, again, a very athletic, great size for a corner at 6'1". He also has very good hip flip, just like Surtain does. And we said Surtain's very physical, right? He uses his size, but Horn's more feisty. Like, you could tell he likes to mix it up, right? He wants to tackle these motherfuckers. He wants to hurt people on top of trying to pick the ball off. Now, that I did say in a negative, that can get him in trouble sometimes. He does draw penalties. Don't love that in the NFL, but I love his moxie mentality.
I had very similar points. So I wrote 6'1", 205, another taller, bigger cornerback. So pretty much the opposite of what the Eagles always do. He looks bigger than Surtain, and he plays bigger than Surtain, which was what stuck out to me. I was like, are you sure which guy is 6'2", which one's 6'1", and which one has this weight, and which guy has this weight? Because it didn't look like it on tape. He looks physically more overbearing than Surtain does, and he plays like it too. Maybe it's a South Carolina thing, but you hope he turns into Stephon Gilmore light, dreadhead guy out of South Carolina. That's the hope. And you can see the physicality. He enjoys contact and confrontation, plays around the line of scrimmage a lot. As we're doing this, he's sacking Sam Howell out of North Carolina on a blitz. So he kind of roves everywhere. Now, like you said, the negative is when you're that physical, sometimes physicality can be a bad thing.
It can be. But he does still turn his head and locate the ball like Surtain does. So that's not the reason why he gets a lot of penalties. He's good at tracking.
It's his hands.
It's his hands. Exactly. But his hands also are very good. We just saw that there at knocking the ball down. He may not always get the pick, but he always is getting his hand on the ball, which I love. And I don't know if you noticed this in his tape. He sometimes is playing against bigger wide receivers, but he never. It's that fight. I feel like he loves that. Like going against a DK Metcalf in the NFL, I feel like he's going to thrive on that. He never backs down, it seems like. And he does, on top of having just the physical traits and the size, he has an explosive burst that I don't think Surtain has either. He has some speed.
I was about to say, the thing that stuck out.
Yeah, so Surtain ran a 4.46, he ran a 4.37. But it's different football speed.
I agree. But to me, again, back to your physicality point, I can see him lining up, like going mano-a-mano with a wide receiver 1 who's 6'3" or 6'4", and not struggling, maybe putting his hands on too much, which again is a worry. And I saw somebody today from PFF say, and I thought this was pretty insane, that they said he might not even be a first-round guy because he's too physical. And I just think that's a little bit ridiculous. Stupid. Yeah, I don't see that at all. Like, I don't see bust on him.
No. There's no. Because on top of the physicality, too, I have this written here, too. He stays in the wide receiver's hip pocket the entire route. So, he has the intangibles and knows how to play cornerback. He's not just like a Neanderthal out there just trying to hit people every play. Like, he knows how to play the cornerback position. He just uses his physicality a little bit more than some other cornerbacks do.
Yeah, so there's a difference. There's 2 types of penalties. It's 1, you're putting your hands on somebody because you panic, and 2, it's because you're overly physical. He's not panicking.
No.
This guy's physically is can match up with anybody and did in the SEC. It's just he physically gets a little bit too excited, a little bit too carried away, and is putting his hands on guys. But it's not
And guess
because he's
what?
out of position.
You can coach that at the next level. A good
Yeah,
defensive coordinator, a good position coach can help him get past that.
I agree. And that actually leads into the last point that I had. So I wrote down Surtain looks like he was built and he plays like he was built in a cornerback factory. Horn is more of a freakish physical athlete. I think
Yes.
Surtain, he goes anywhere and he'll be fine. Horn needs the right system and he can turn into an absolute monster. So this is the classic risk reward floor versus ceiling situation, or maybe Horn has the higher ceiling but Surtain has the lower floor.
Now, I think for the Cowboys' perspective, if Surtain and Horn are both sitting there, I don't know why. I just feel like Dan Quinn would want to go with Horn. He likes those physical, in-your-face corners. You think back to the Legion of Boom, the Seattle days when they won the World Series, won the Super Bowl. Even Richard Sherman back then was physical up at the line.
Mm-hmm.
Surtain's a little bit bigger, but like we just said, Horn plays bigger, if that makes any sense. And I think Dan Quinn, if he has any say within the building, which apparently he has a big say already, because he is a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator. And apparently they love him. I do like him as a coordinator. Didn't like him as a head coach. And that sometimes is the same thing with Wade Phillips. Wade Phillips came to the Dallas Cowboys as their head coach. Was a terrible head coach. Was a great defensive coordinator. So, I'm hoping he can revive his career. But if both cornerbacks are there, gun to the head, who are you taking? You had to take a corner.
Surtain, less risk.
Yeah.
I think that the Eagles just can't screw up the pick. They're in a position where if the front office wants to keep their jobs, they have to take the less risky option. Does that mean I think Surtain will be better? I don't know. But if you're asking me who the team's taking, it'd be Surtain if both are there at 12.
I'm just trying to see, like you said with Surtain, I could see him like in the Broncos orange, which you're right. I'm just trying to think, where does Horn look? Like New Orleans?
Mm-hmm.
Like with Lattimore?
Yeah, I can see that.
Maybe looks like one of those.
New Orleans, yeah. I can see him on the Cowboys. I can't see him as an Eagle. I can't.
No. I see him with the opposite Ramsey.
Yeah, just like those get up in your face guys.
Buffalo,
but they'll pick too late though.
Yeah, he won't be there.
Don't let the Steelers.
Oh God,
do not let this kid fall at 20.
We know he falls there. And I mean, we're not talking about Caleb Farley, but obviously Horn jumped up to CB2 on most people's draft boards because Caleb Farley from Virginia Tech, who was on some people's draft boards as CB1, even over Surtain, came out with the back injury. He did not play this past year. He had a back injury that ended, I believe, his 2019 season, missed the last 2 games of the season, and just came out that he had another back procedure to relieve, pressure in his back. But he didn't play this entire year, and he needed a back procedure. Red flags are everywhere. And, I was listening to our guy, Jeff Kavanaugh, on the draft show. You probably heard this too. He dropped him all the way down to cornerback 8 for him on his
I saw that in his power rankings, which is pretty wild. I don't think I have him down to 8, but that's a long way to go. 8's a long way to drop. But listen, as someone who's been burned by the injury route before, I'm not going to knock anybody for not taking him.
No, but, I'm not upset with Horn now being CB2 after watching his tape. He deserves it.
Yeah, I agree. I love the physicality.
All right. We got one more player on the board. We saved the best for last. Hashtag Aiden's favorite. Hashtag
Team Micah, baby.